Hey, what's up and thanks for clicking in. Today's video is extra special and deserves a cheers to get started.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
As you can see, my beautiful wife Carissa is here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than some of my others, but we're going to kind of explain Bitcoin and explain cryptocurrency in general, but I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to let you ask some questions because I know you're always asking me questions about it, and this will just kind of be an open conversation. Obviously, you have your glass of rosé, I got my glass of beer here, and we just want to give you a better understanding of what cryptocurrency is and specifically what Bitcoin is and what it can be used for. So I think in this video, I think it's appropriate. Let's start off with just you tell everybody what you know about Bitcoin.
I don't think I know much.
Well, video over. No, but
I don't think I do.
You probably know more than you think. I mean, just being around me over the past couple of years, some has probably rubbed off. So, I mean, what do you know just in really broad terms? What do you know about like what it is, what it does, what it's used for, anything?
I believe it's the biggest or top cryptocurrency.
Okay.
It is a form of blockchain.
Okay, good.
I mean, I know the value it goes up and goes down, right?
Yeah,
similar to the
true.
stock market.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where you can or who accepts Bitcoin. I don't think it's widely accepted, but I don't think it's common knowledge as to where you can go and pay with Bitcoin, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's good for now.
Yeah, no, I think, and true, I think everything that you just said there is 100% correct, right?
It is?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a cryptocurrency. It is on a blockchain. It is the #1 cryptocurrency. So all those things that you said, 100% correct. What actually is cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency it's in the computer. It's not like,
so
it's not, it's not like tangible, right?
You can't touch it. No,
you can't touch it.
You're 100% correct. It's a digital currency.
Currency.
You cannot touch it. There's no Bitcoin. There are pictures of what Bitcoins might look like. There's no actual Bitcoins. This is a completely
It's not an
digital.
actual gold coin
Correct.
like you see, right?
No,
like it's
no.
logo. Is that its logo?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that doesn't exist. It's just a logo. It can be exchanged. And so I can send you Bitcoin. I would set up a Bitcoin wallet and I can send Bitcoin to your Bitcoin wallet. And that's how we can exchange value. I think to really understand Bitcoin and to how it works, it's helpful to compare it to something else, right? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, but it is also a network. So you use Bitcoin to exchange value with people, but you do that on the Bitcoin network. So that network is similar to what we know today as Visa or your bank. So anytime you're talking about money, you can't spend money twice, right? Like, so if you spend money, it's gone from your account and it goes to somebody else's account. So this whole concept of double spend is what your bank keeps track of in a ledger. So what Bitcoin does is it takes that ledger, which is the calculation of who has what, and it takes it away from an entity like Visa or Bank of America or Wells Fargo, and it transfers that to a distributed network. And what that actually means is me or you, just by having a computer, can see that ledger. It's open. I can see who sends transactions to, and we can also verify that ledger. That ledger is being verified by people all over the world. Yes.
Miners.
Miners, yes.
Cheers.
Cheers to miners.
I guess I do know a little more. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still very confusing.
All right, so let's do what we can to make it a little bit less confusing if we possibly could. Sticking with the comparison of Bitcoin and your bank, right? When you spend money with your bank, you swipe your debit card, you see on your bank statement that debit coming out, and when you get direct deposit, your money comes in, you see that coming in. So the bank is essentially keeping tracks of those debits and credits into your account, right? But no, you can't see everybody's debits and credits, right? You can only see your own.
Right.
With Bitcoin, I can see everybody's debits and credits. So I can see everybody's address. I can see every transaction that's come in and every transaction that's come out.
Where do you see that?
You can look that up online, and that's what allows miners to be able to verify these transactions.
So you can see other people's like Bitcoin amount?
Yeah. And their transactions every time the money moves.
How do you know? Oh, you can see it, but you don't know who's who.
Well, I only know their Bitcoin address, which is a long string of numbers and letters, which technically is assigned to people, but it's hard to distinguish who is who. So you can see the transactions, but who is actually sending the money is somewhat anonymous. Similar to how your bank keeps track of the debits and credits, that's what the Bitcoin network does. Everybody that's online sees that entire ledger and has the ability to view it and make updates to it.
So what is this mining? Like, what is mining? Explain mining.
Yeah, it's a great question. So mining is the approval of transactions. The difference between central versus decentral. So we talked about centralized, Visa, your bank. The central authority is that entity, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's Visa. So when you send a transaction on the Visa network, Visa's there to say that person has money or that person doesn't have money.
Right.
But with Bitcoin, because there's no central authority, that's where the concept of mining comes in. And mining is a little bit complicated, right? Like it's a weird term.
Yeah, is there like real miners? Like,
Right,
is
yeah.
there people?
Yeah. And I think too, because when Bitcoin was created, it's like, you almost like always been equated to gold, like it's backed by something.
Like I think of minions.
Yeah. Similar, yeah, minions.
But I'm also thinking of like people on the computer just mining, like a person literally mining. And it's not that. It's not a person behind a computer mining.
No, it's not a person actually sitting there coding and like typing stuff in. No, it's not that at all. But it is a computer and it is a program that's running. And what that program is running is running basically an algorithm, right?
So each computer is a miner.
Yeah, and they call them nodes.
Can several miners live in one computer?
It's a little bit different. Think of each computer as a node and each node as a miner, essentially. So, and each miner is contributing to the hashing power of the network. And the reason they call it hashing power is because when a transaction is sent, if I send you 1 Bitcoin, like I, from my address, send to your address 1 Bitcoin, that is going to be recorded in the ledger, in the Bitcoin ledger, and it's going to be assigned a transaction ID, kind of like a receipt number. So we can track that ID. And that is a hash. And a hash is basically just
a hashtag?
Not a hashtag, but think of just like a long string of numbers and letters, alphanumeric, uppercase, lowercase. So it's just like very random and you can never guess it. Every transaction has that. So when the mining takes place, the mining is essentially these computers are all ganging up together to combine their resources, because you need a lot of resources because you're trying to guess that hash of every single transaction. Look at this diagram I created. I think it'll help illustrate exactly what we are talking about. Now, when you take a look at this, at first I agree it may look a little bit confusing, but we're going to break it down and make it super simple to understand. So imagine this white area here is a block, and this block has 8 transactions in it. These 8 transactions are along the bottom of the block. Now for this example, we only have 8 transactions, but in a normal block, you would have many, many more. As I stated earlier, each transaction is assigned a hash. So you have transaction 1 gets hash 1, and it's this long string of letters and numbers. Transaction 2, hash 2, long string of letters and numbers, and so on and so forth, all the way down to transaction 8, which gets hash 8. So what you do is you find hash 1 by guessing, then you move to hash 2 by guessing, all the way down until you complete this first row of 8. Next step, you find the combined hash of 1 and 2. That's listed here. Then you find the combined hash of 3 and 4. That's this number. Then 5 and 6. Then 7 and 8. Moving on to the next level, you'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is this number here. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is here, this long string. What you're ultimately going for is the root hash. It's this long string in green, and it's the hash of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This hash, we can call it the money hash, because the person that finds this number essentially gets that mining reward we were talking about, the 12.5 Bitcoins. This hash plugs into the last block on the chain, and then this block becomes the newest block on the chain. What you might be wondering is, why do I have to go through all these steps just to guess this one root hash? Why can't I just go straight for this root hash? And the answer is proof of work. And proof of work is the algorithm that Bitcoin uses. And this is what the Bitcoin miners use to solve these blocks and guess these hashes. And proof of work, and I can explain it in one way. It's kind of like when you were in math class in elementary school, and you might get a math problem. It was like 127 plus 47 minus 36 plus 28. And you could just punch those numbers into your calculator, obviously, and get that answer. But your teacher would always want to see, show your work. I want to know how you got the answer. And that is what proof of work is. It's showing how you got to this root hash. And the reason we have proof of work is so that this block takes 10 minutes or about 10 minutes to mine or to solve.
Okay, so why does it take 10 minutes? Because that doesn't seem that long. For what like they have to do, like to try to guess the hash, like a whole sequence. That 10 minutes doesn't seem long enough.
No, that's a good question. And it's not a long time, but I think let's go back to the comparison again, right? So we're used to a system where we spend our money, and Visa, MasterCard, they process that transaction in milliseconds, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the standard that we're used to. So when you take that, and then you want to go now to 10 minutes for approval, it is a big difference, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so obviously it's a new technology, and advancements will come in to improve the actual transaction speed. But let's take your first question is, why does it take 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. And that's by design, right? So when you're processing, we talked about the mining, we talked about the approval of transactions. So you're guessing a hash, but you're not actually guessing the exact number of the hash, because it would be impossible. It would be like finding one grain of sand on the beach.
Oh, then
impossible, right?
No, see, I thought that's what they were guessing.
There is a hash, and that's what they're trying to guess towards, but they're guessing within a range.
Oh.
Okay, so there's a range that's established that you have to guess within to establish that hash. The reason that they have that range is because that allows them to adjust the difficulty of how difficult it is to mine the transactions, which keeps the time at 10 minutes. And the reason that they want to keep the time at...
It's always 10 minutes?
It's supposed to be very, very close to 10 minutes. And the reason that it's that way is because what's in it for the miners? We didn't really talk about this. Like these miners are processing, they're using their computing resources, which is electricity. So they're spending money to process these transactions. What's in it for them?
Well, when they get to guessing it, they get rewarded.
Correct. So the first...
But what if they don't? Then there's no reward.
Yeah, exactly.
There isn't.
Right.
It's just a waste of electricity and
correct,
time.
And on to the next one type of thing. But you are correct about the rewards. So when a new block is picked up by the mining pool, the first thing that's done is that they add a transaction into that block, another one. So it's full of transactions, and they add another transaction, and that transaction is the mining reward that you're talking about. So that mining reward is the reward that you get for successfully mining that block. Right now, currently, 12.5 Bitcoins if you mine a block correctly. So the reason that they want to keep it at 10 minutes is because they want to control the supply daily of Bitcoin. In the United States, we operate on the Federal Reserve System. They print an endless amount of money. No one really knows how much every day. With Bitcoin, we know that there's 12.5 Bitcoin created every 10 minutes. So I think we covered a lot today. Bob, you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you learned a lot, and I think you knew a lot going into this.
I think so. This made me realize that I know more than I thought I did.
Yeah, and I hope you guys learned a little bit as well. Obviously, we didn't cover everything there is to know about Bitcoin. I think that would be impossible in 12 minutes.
Wait, there's more?
There's a lot more. And not only is there more about Bitcoin, there's other cryptocurrencies as well, and a whole lot more that we can learn. So if you guys are interested and want to learn more, please leave a comment below. Let us know. We do respond. If you like this channel, please feel free to subscribe.
We're going to need another bottle if there's more.
Yeah, many more bottles, I think.
This was fun, Bob.
Yeah. Cheers, babe.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Guys.